Happy Tuesday night, listeners. This is the podcast where we talk life, love, and literature. I'm author Sierra London, and along with my co-host, author Elle Loren, we are Women on Words. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We have a special guest, author Nicole Smith Daniels. Nicole, are you on the line?
I am. Thank you so much. How are you?
I am doing awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
Hi, Nicole.
Lisa,
how are you?
Okay. All right. So, audience, we tried something new so we could try and see each other and work through some hiccups. It didn't quite work out. We'll have to try it again with our next guest. But Nicole, go ahead and tell us who you are, what you write, and how long you've been writing.
Okay. Well, my name is Nicole Smith Daniels. I'm hailing to you from North Carolina by way of New York. And I actually write inspirationals. So right now I'm doing devotionals, workbooks, study guides. Actually just wrote one this year, so 2 novelettes. And so those are coming out as well. I have been writing since 2007, but my first book was published in 2013.
Okay.
Wow.
Wonderful. Okay. So how many books do you have now, Nicole?
Right now we have 6, and by December we'll have 13.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay. That's a surge.
Well, it's a long story to that, and it's not that I've been writing them all and I'm just really, really busy. But what happened is because of the COVID-19, I was laid off of my job after 10 years. So I had written 2 anthologies. I had joined in with some authors and written 2 anthologies. And so I have actually pulled those 2 novelettes out, and they're separate. So those are already written, but then there's 2 workbooks. There's a workbook to go to each one of those. And then the other one is a workbook is coming out on that one as well. So, and then the first 3 books that I wrote is a study guide to go with those 3.
Okay. Wow.
Sounds like a lot, but
no,
they were already in the making, and just now able to have the time to finish them.
Okay. Well, you know what, Nicole, I'm so glad, that you're on the show tonight. Just to share with our listeners, like, the impact of COVID-19 on everyday people. I think you're the first person that has actually come on the line and said that, their job employment situation actually changed because of what's going on with the virus. So I thank you for just being candid about that.
Yes.
Because that's a lot. Like you said, 10 years on a job, that's connection. You've connected, you met with people, you put down roots. So that's a pretty significant change in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us. I'm going to ask one question and then I'm going to turn it over to Lisa. But tell us, being in the workforce for 10 years. And then having this global pandemic strike, and it changed your employment situation. What led you back to your writing? Because you said that you've been writing since 2007. What led you back to your writing, as opposed to going back into a traditional job, like looking for the next job for the next 10 years? May I ask?
Okay. Well, actually, the layoff was, in hindsight, a blessing. Having said that, I had been single for 20 years, celibate for 20 years, which is what the first 3 books, they're workbooks and for singles. Wow. And then I just got married in 2018.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I guess the blessing to me in that was being kind of shocked that they did let me go, but at the same time a little relieved. Financially, God has blessed me with an amazing man of God. He's also a minister and a writer, and he's writing as well. But it just kind of allowed me to look back and realize that I have to really be mindful of being a steward over all that God has put me in my possession to take care of, not just the finances, but my time. And so we had to get on a schedule, being newly married. My husband wants to spend time with me. I have to be mindful of that. He's retired, so he's home. And so he has allowed that in me to progress in that. But at the end of the day, it's not my ministry, it's our ministry. So we have been working together on it. We have, looking back, 10 years, I've always had a job all my life. I've never not worked. So we made a decision to create an LLC and not go back into the workforce, but to allow, so we have gone into ministry full time.
Wow. Okay. Huge. Yeah. Lisa?
That is a blessing. Thank you. I was doing some research on you before the interview, and I wanted to see you had your YouTube up, and this week you were talking about cleaning out your closet. That is a excellent topic. I very much enjoyed that topic, and as you were saying, you made the decision to leave your old life behind. Tell us how you cleaned out your closet and decluttered your life, moving into your new ministry, and it might not be new, but your new career in the ministry with your husband.
Yeah, now that is new to me in the sense of being married. Being single for 20 years, 2 years ago, probably 3 years ago, a year before I got married, I moved my mom in with me. She had a seizure a year before that, and she couldn't stay by herself, so I purchased a home and moved her in with me. So it was just me and her for about a year or two. And so one of the things that I had to do is kind of, first of all, be mindful of her being in my life. All my kids are grown, so it was just me for a minute. So I had to kind of declutter my mind, my thought process, and realize that there was another person there. But I also gave me opportunity to learn a little bit more about me and my mom and our upbringing. And then having said that, then getting married, now I have to change my way of thinking, because now it's another person that is now sharing my everything, And so it has been amazing because I waited. The first book that I wrote was on waiting. I waited, and I knew what I wanted. I got married late in life, and I'm not ashamed. I'm proud of my age. I'm 55. And so I am, got married late in life, and now the things that used to be very serious or very whatever, they're now kind of petty, I don't kind of look at them way anywhere. So I've had to change my way of thinking, but also take out the selfishness, take out those things that makes you think of just you, because you're not by yourself. I have 4 children, but they're all grown, and I had to kind of declutter that closet of things that that didn't belong anymore. Having said that, me and my husband are writing a book as well that has to do very similar to that, so I'm not going to talk about it right now. Okay. So I'm excited. That will be a workbook for married couples.
Okay.
But I'm still cleaning out my closet. Having said that, I did gain a little bit of weight after I got married, so I physically had to clean out half of my closet. So I kind of understand the concept, but at the end of the day, I understand that in order for us to have those what we call God moments and thank you Jesus experience, We have to kind of be open-minded to some things, especially what's going on now with the COVID-19. My mom wants to get out of the house, and, I got to share with her, we can't be going shopping like that, and, we just can't do that. So in that, my mindset is changing, but it's allowing me to find a whole lot of stuff to write about.
Okay, yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, you've given me a lot to think about. I'm one of those folks who process information. Like Lisa said, she did a lot of research and she found you online and stuff. And I went to your website and I was looking at your books too. But I definitely process information as I'm talking to people. So I'm thinking about everything that you said. I think we're all over 50. So we're women of a certain age. But Lisa and I have been married for a while. But you are a newlywed. So you're newlywed at 55, and you have your mom with you, and you're kind of the sandwich generation that we read about in the news. Like you have your kids on one side of you and your parents on the other, and now you have your mate with you. So how has that shaped your writing? Like, tell us the book we're going to talk about tonight. And then how has, your situation changing influenced what's between the covers of that book?
Wow. It has gotten me very closer to my mom, but at the end of the day, it has changed my thought process. It has allowed me to take Nicole out of the picture and be more focused on ministry and what my purpose is, and to kind of be mindful. There are a lot of things that we do that we don't quote unquote feel like doing it, but we do things because it's the right thing to do. A good friend of mine mentioned to me years ago, he said, sometimes you have to do the right thing and let your emotions catch up later. Because it's how the way you feel, then, we won't be doing too much of anything.
Yeah, that's powerful. Let your emotions catch up later. You know what? That's wise advice. You know what? That is really wise advice, because so many times our emotions grip us first and we act on that. And I love the way you said that. What are you thinking, Lisa?
I think that is excellent, because we, as humans, we naturally react to our emotional state without thinking a lot of times. And your friend is very wise. Let your emotions catch up to what you're doing as the right thing. I love that. Now, you mentioned having a God moment or a thank you, Jesus experience. And that is prolific to me. I was like, oh, my goodness, I've had these experiences. I just never thought of it in that manner. So tell the listeners what you mean by having a God moment and having a thank you, Jesus experience.
Yeah. Wow. What does that mean for you?
Well, one of the things is, when you, and we've all experienced it, but it's that moment when you're praying for something and the answer comes so fast it kind of stuns you. It's a God moment. It's like, wait a minute, or it's a time when, you've been in a situation and you've whispered under your breath, Jesus, I need you to help me. And then in short order, situation solved. That's the thank you, Jesus experience. Or you've been through a crisis moment or a real challenging or financial time or maybe even a major marital issue or heartbreak or even a disappointment or having to really embrace, as some people have, the reality of death. And during this crisis, you're numb or you're on the verge of a meltdown, and somehow, you made it through, and you look back and you realize that God kept you through it all. He kept you with his strength. His strength was made perfect in your weakness, and his grace was sufficient. So that, to me, is a God moment when situations have happened, and it's like, wow. I've had many God moments, but